All right, now we're recording. So it's Thursday. It is September 28th. And I was just saying before, what we thought we'd do tonight is just have some team time. I think it's just so important for us to come together as a community of coaches. We're all in this together and just maybe talk about what's going on. So didn't want to really have any kind of formal presentation more than conversation. But what we thought, the executive directors and I get together and we were starting to put some thought to our next team call with our clients, which would be next week on Thursday night. So we started talking about what do our clients struggle with. And, we started thinking about Halloween is going to come in October. And we've already had questions about people being challenged because of fall tailgating activities and whatever. And that kind of led to a conversation about what do we do with how important it is, or how important is it for us to be incongruent with our own health when it comes to talking to our clients? Because some of us are new and we're maybe on our journey, and then some of us, like me, have been around the block for a while. And sometimes it's easy to start just treading water or slipping backwards in our health. So how do we make sure that we're always leading with our health, or when we're not, how does that impact our business? And then just kind of have a conversation around it. So I don't know I've got those of you guys on the phone. We've got Vicki, Susan, Julie, Gay by video, and then Debbie and Linda by phone. But I just want to kind of open it up to you guys if you have any thoughts around that topic.
I have one thought that just telling people or reiterating that going from being a client to becoming a coach and that extra accountability really, I know for me, it's very tempting right now to just kind of just eat that thing because I want it, or just have seconds because they tasted good or whatever. But I know that there's an accountability because of the position that I have, or the people that I, have to be accountable to, that is one more thing that kind of pushes me to make healthier decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Has there ever, do you mind if I just get a little personal? Because I don't know the answer to this, but has there ever been a time, you've been coaching for a few years, has there ever been a time that maybe you were slipping into old patterns, or maybe put a little weight back on, or anything like that?
Well, before I was not a client before I became a coach. I approached my coach and said, I want to become a coach. That sounds cool. So I'm a little bit different, although I don't think for this team that's that different. But so I don't have that. I don't have a long history of having lived unhealthy, habits before. But I do have times that I'm like, I love ice cream. I love pizza, so yes, I have had times where I am tempted to just be lazy and just have the thing I want and have, I don't know, it's ingrained, or it's part of my DNA or something. But yes, for sure, there have been times that I've been wanting to indulge and chose not to because it's the better choice.
Good. That's impressive. Do you feel like you're continually moving your health forward, or do you feel like you're kind of just living the habits of health?
For me, for right now, I feel like I'm not where I want to be. So, and I think that I can say that that's both because of the habits that I'm not doing, I'm not exercising as much as I could, and I'm not eating exactly right. And I feel like me today is not at that prime spot, but I do definitely adopt, things that I've learned and make them who I am. Does that answer that question?
No, it does. It does. And
okay.
I think another question, and it might not be something we even know the answer to, is just, do you ever see a correlation if you're not in alignment? You know, like if you're not really, your health is not you know, you're not doing everything, or not, you know, there's things that maybe you should be doing that you're not. Do you feel like that reflects at all in your conversations with clients or with potential clients, or?
I do, definitely, because I feel inauthentic, you know. So, and I don't know, maybe it's a chicken or an egg thing, you know, like, you know, what came first. But I do feel like there's a time when I'm slumping in one area, I'm probably slumping in a lot of areas, you know. So I don't know what is preceding the other, but yes, definitely they're together. And
it can actually start to, you know, and this is good for us to talk about, because this is what our clients go through, right? When our clients, I mean, we're human, we're going through the same thing. And I think that's why it's important to say it out loud and talk about it. But what that's really interesting, what you said, is like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because you can get out of alignment with your health, right, a little bit, and then the business slumps. Well, then that makes you a little sad. So maybe you eat something, make you feel better. You know what I mean? So it can be a cycle. So, well, good. Thanks for sharing on that. Susan Giesland, we were talking earlier today, and you know, you've been coaching for a few years, and you definitely said you saw some correlation.
Yeah, I definitely did. And you know, it's funny. Exercise is not an issue for me. It's a stress relief for me. But for me, whenever I would see myself slip back into those times, or really kind of take my mind off my own health, and not pay attention to it as much, I noticed that my business would slow down. And so when my business slowed down, you know, I would be like, why is my business slowing down? What's going on? And I had to like look inside and go, okay, what are you doing yourself? I mean, are you living with integrity? And boy, what an eye opener that was. And I was surprised to find that when I didn't lead with my health and it affected my business, I was like, why would it affect my business? I don't know how that happens. I don't know if it's a cosmic kind of thing, but I did notice that when I started really living the habits of health, all of a sudden it was like people came out of the woodwork. So seeds I had planted grew. So, you know, if we're not taking care of ourselves and following the habits of health and living with integrity and living above the line and all of that, I don't know how it happens. I don't know if we put out that kind of energy, but when we start doing that again, it's almost like you've added water to the seeds you planted. And I don't have an explanation of why it happens. I've just seen it happen. And it was, you know, I'm like Debbie, you know, it's sort of like, you know, keeping track of where you're at. It's not easy. It's a journey. There's no destination. It's a journey. And so, you know, I mean, we all are human, so we all make mistakes and we learn from them. That's the biggest thing. And I think it really makes us very relatable for our clients, so that because I've had conversations with clients and I've shared some of this with some of my clients, and they're like, oh, that makes me feel so much better to know that you're normal. I'm like, yeah, I'm normal. You know, it makes such a connection there with your clients, because if they're struggling, it's nice to know that you also deal with that. So it kind of brings your connection a little bit closer with your clients, but also I think it just puts it out in the world that, you know, when we lead with our health, you know, it's on the map. If you do the map, it's right there. But it really has that effect on our business. And, you know, when you feel better about yourself, you come across that way. When you feel confident, when you feel like, you know, you feel good physically, you feel good emotionally, it really comes across that way when you're excited about what you're doing. So I would encourage that for sure.
Yeah.
And talk to your own coach, you know, because you know what? When we become health coaches, sometimes we forget we still have a health coach. You know, she may be your business, or he or she may be your business coach, but they're still your health coach. So talk to your health coach.
Sorry, it's true. And I think I've been guilty of it with my own business mentoring, as well as mentoring coaches on our team. That it is real easy to switch when somebody comes, a a health coach, opt to be a coach, to stop talking about personal health, but what I will say is I've noticed it in my business, just like you said, Susan. I've noticed it. There's a direct correlation in coaches on our team, and I'll look left and right, in our company, that there is always a direct correlation that if somebody is out of alignment with their personal health, you just don't have the same confidence talking to people. It definitely is an energy thing. And by no means does this conversation mean that we have to be at a perfect weight, a perfect body composition. It is not about that whatsoever, but it does mean that that we're in integrity. And we were talking the other day about, what about somebody who's going to a tailgate party, and she's like, well, I really want to have a drink and whatnot. Well, if you're finding that every social event you're wanting to drink and eat and this and that, and you're having a hard time with it, it's just hard to talk to your clients about making different choices if you're having trouble with those same choices. So, we do have wine, we do have things, but again, like I found myself just even recently back into some patterns with, alcohol on the weekends, looking forward to it, whatever, it's just becoming a much bigger part of my life than I really want it to, rather it be at this point. So, and it shows up on the scale always. So, Julie, you just had an experience because you decided to just you've always been such a fit person, never really needed the program itself, but you've always lived the habits of health. But with this most recent focus group, you decided to kind of make some tweaks to your health, and you saw just some interesting things happen.
Yeah, it's funny because no matter where you are in your journey, you still like I still want to have another goal. I still have stuff I want to work for. And Dee and I were talking about that no matter what, if you're not moving forward, what are you doing? Either kind of swimming to stay afloat, or you're probably falling backwards and sinking a little bit. So I thought, you know what? I want to try to challenge myself. So I started cutting out all the added sugar and alcohol, and I don't even drink much alcohol, but I thought if I'm cutting out sugar, I might as well cut out alcohol. So for 2 weeks straight, I didn't have any, I've had fruit, but I haven't had any desserts. I haven't had any cake, nothing like that. No alcohol, out with friends, didn't drink, didn't have wine. My friends were like, what are you doing? And they know I don't drink much anyway, but a couple of occasions they noticed it. And I stepped on the scale, which I don't even step on a scale that often because I just base it on my clothes. And after the summer, that's when I kind of noticed, I was like, my skirts feel a little bit tighter. That's when I was like, I can tell sugar's creeped back in. So when I stepped on the scale the first week, I think I was down 2 pounds. And then I stepped on the scale this past Tuesday, week 2, and I was down another pound. And I thought, oh my gosh, just this 2 little changes is making such a difference.
Yeah, and not even being on plan, just cutting out.
Yes. Just that little thing. And I thought this is such a powerful talking point with clients, because how many of our clients look at us and like, well, I just had a slice of bread, or I only had 1 glass of wine. But even those little things start to add up. And so I've been able to integrate that with a lot of conversations with clients. I'm like, gosh, y'all, even myself, I feel like I'm a fit person, but I've added or taken out a couple little things and look what it's done. So it creates a really different perspective for me, but it also helps hopefully clients as we're having, discussions during the week and catching up. And then it was really funny because on Monday I had a conversation with a referral, and it's actually another personal trainer here in Charlotte. And when we came, she said, Julie, I need your help. She's, no, I'm a trainer. I feel like, can y'all hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay. If I'm not coming in, just hold up your hand or something.
Okay.
So she said, I feel like I'm little Miss Piggy, and said, can you help hold me accountable? And that's what I need. And I said, I get it. I think personal trainers, we all need this. Every single coach, every single human needs accountability and needs this program, no matter where you are. And so it was just an enlightening conversation with her.
Uh-huh.
And she said when she's with clients, she started to slip into oh, let's talk about Dancing with the Stars. How was that thing this weekend? And what did you do? So it's, instead of talking about health as a fitness trainer, personal trainer, now she's just talking about life And she said, I want to be talking to my clients and challenging them, but how can I do that when I'm not even taking care of myself?
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat.
Did you feel like when you cut the sugar, did you start feeling better, energy different? Do you feel like that changed how you carried yourself, energy you might be putting out?
Yes. Okay. So I've never struggled with sugar or with energy, but I noticed like late summer that at night I would sit on my couch and like try to start doing a few things work-wise, and I'd get so tired I would put my head down and literally fall asleep. And I'm like, this is not me. And the 2 weeks that I cut out sugar, there was not one night that I fell asleep. And I was like, this is just way too coincidental that I was falling asleep with the sugar, and now I don't even struggle.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, how about you, Vicki? You and I think are kind of in a similar place. And
yeah, so it's funny how we're talking about habits, because so every night, pretty much every night, I always have like a decaf coffee, with my almond milk, and it's kind of my little chill wind down. But the reality is I get up to go to the bathroom, I don't know how many times, and like it interrupts my sleep. And I'm a terrible water drinker. So it was so funny. I was like getting ready for this call and I'm doing things around my kitchen, and I went to go make my little Keurig thing. I'm like, no, I am drinking seltzer. I don't need the coffee. It's just like you start to realize that it's like default behavior. It's what I do. But it's like that whole stop challenge. She's like, I just got to pause and just say, do I really want coffee, or am I really just thirsty? Like, do I really need that? So for me, it's those kinds of things. I mean, I typically exercise daily, so that's not really an issue for me. I've pretty much maintained my weight since I lost it, so 4 years. But Dee and I had an opportunity to get on this DEXA scan. So I did that a couple weeks ago with Nicole. I have to say I haven't really done a whole lot with it as much as I'd like to commit to a goal and be very specific. I just have had some other personal things going on in my life that have taken my time. So I've had to take a little bit of my own time away from me. But what was really interesting about this body composition analysis was it gave me very specific, like I always feel like I need to get my cardio in, because that I just have always felt that way, that I just got to get my cardio. If I do nothing else, I got to get my 30 minutes of cardio in. And I much prefer to lift than I do to do cardio. And what this analysis said to me is I actually need to be lifting more. So here in the quest for doing what I thought I needed, that's not what this is telling me that I need. So it actually is telling me that I need to increase my, help me, Dee, I'm trying to figure out where this says. So it actually says
it's over on the far right.
Yeah, on the right-hand side. So it tells me that I am.
Which report are you looking at, Vicki? What's it called?
It's an InBody. It's an InBody report.
Yep.
So, well, it's interesting because it says body fat mass plus 1.1 pounds, which means I need to gain. Well, I don't think it wants me to gain fat mass. Lean body mass is plus 0.2 pounds. So I just remember in the conversation about this that Nicole was just telling me that I needed to actually probably lift more and just gain a little more lean muscle mass. Because I'm really within normal limits everywhere. I mean, the thing that made me really, really happy was my visceral fat level, which actually is like the fat that surrounds your organs, which of course none of us can really see. Like we don't know unless we have a scan like this done. I was in the low end on a level 4. And at the time, when she did it, she told me that was the lowest she had seen until, of course, she did Susan Palace, which made me laugh. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, but it's good.
It must be a little person thing, because mine wasn't a 4.
Well, and when I look at my family history, I've got type 2 diabetes in both my parents and all 4 sets of grandparents, stroke, heart disease, high triglycerides, high blood pressure. I have all of the bad cardiovascular, like anything that has to do with that on that side of my family. So for me, every day I feel like it's like, I wake up like the warrior ready to fight my genetic battle. That's really how I live my life, I think, is every day I'm fighting for life. I'm fighting for quality of life. So for me, it really is about health. I don't get so much caught up in the number on the scale as how I feel. I can definitely speak to what you were just saying, Julie, about energy, because I know I have a sugar problem. And when I went on program, I knew I had a sugar problem because I could feel it. And once I was on program, I would feel those blood sugar drops, and it scared me. And once I was on program, I didn't feel that. Of course, now I'm really maintenance, so I have to be careful because Julie, like all of a sudden, we can be in the middle of the show. I could be watching TV, and my husband will say, I'll try, like all of a sudden the football game's on. What happened? Because you fell asleep. So I know that I can. I mean, part of it is I don't get enough sleep, so that's a whole other issue. But the up and down, I am very sensitive to it. So that awareness, though. Like so many things, like, Susan, what you said about, living above the line and really coaching your clients. You can't be talking to somebody on the phone with the half-gallon ice cream in your hand. You can't, I mean, you can't, but the flip side is, I think the value in being a coach is that awareness that like me getting on this call, right? If I wasn't getting on this call, I probably would have had my little decaf coffee because I would have been automatic. But I'm getting on this call, made me think about my water, made me think about how much I've had today. Do I really need that decaf coffee? Absolutely not. Total habitual. Time of night, it's my decompression. But the sweet leaf vanilla cream seltzer tastes pretty good. So I'm very happy.
Ooh.
So anyway, but Dee, I'd love to know what you got out of the InBody. Because again, really what I need to do is commit a month and really start lifting more and kind of see what changes. That's really my goal after October.
Yeah. So very much like what Vicki talks about and what we've talked about with our clients, we talk about this with transition and maintenance. Like, it's always important to set that next goal, right? For people to have something to focus on. But I will be honest, I mean, I am a fit person too, work out most days of the week. But I do, as opposed to you, I do not like to lift. That's just not my thing, even though I do get some weight work. But I'd had some body fat tests, like really not the most accurate kind done in the past. And my body fat always tested pretty darn high for as much as I work out, and like in the 30% range. And so I've been feeling extremely static in my health. And like I said, starting to pick up some other habits. The clothes fit fine. My weight is perfect. Like, I'm a 22 BMI. I mean, on a chart, it looks good. So I just decided, you know what, I think it's time to, like you said, numbers don't lie. Right? So let's just take a look at it. Let's see, maybe what can my next challenge be? And mine was not surprising, but yet surprising. My ratios were very different from yours. My ratios said that I should actually lose almost 12 pounds of fat off my body, even though I am, at a healthy weight. Change the composition, lose 12 pounds of fat and gain 6.2 of muscle. So that would still be a net loss, but a different body composition. A big advantage of doing that was my BMR, my resting, caloric, whatever, 1,268 calories. So that's low. No wonder I gain weight so easy, So if I build more muscle, that's going to help my metabolism. So I am actually, starting Monday, back on plan, because I'm going to a wine festival Sunday, but starting plan and just being real. But I'm going to go on plan and start it. And just like you said, Vicki, reevaluate in 4 weeks. Make sure that the combination I'm doing with, being on plan and the working out does it. So that means adding more weight training to my already busy workout schedule. But what I'm more excited about is I'm hoping the results come out the way they want. Because I feel like this will be something fun to talk to people about, and fun if I run into a fit person talking about how our plan can help change body composition and maybe reach a whole new market with this. So I think that's what we talk about, is that we're always kind of setting that next goal. Just like you said, Julie, let me cut out this sugar, see how I feel, see, what I can do with that. So I think that's kind of cool.
So Dee, are you going, so you're going to go back on 5 and 1? Is that what you're going to do? And then you're going to just start increasing your strength training?
Yeah, I'm working with a trainer on that. So yeah, going back on 5 and 1 with some healthy fats. Because here's the other thing, and this is a discussion, it's probably outside of here, but there is some information that supports that based on the amount of lean muscle tissue you have, you can only support a certain amount of grams of protein. So based on the lean muscle I have, it's only like 90 pounds of muscle in my body. So I really need to keep my protein around 90 grams. So I can't really do a 4 and 2 or anything. It's going to put me too high in the protein, which would prevent being in fat burning. So it's either do a reduced calorie plan, caloric plan, or fat burn, but I'd rather try fat burn. So again, I'll be playing with it to see what happens. So how about you, Jen? Do you mind speaking up a little bit? Because you've been on plan. You're on your weight loss journey, but I know at one point you were, kind of at a comfortable place. Do you feel like your own health journey, has it impacted your business, how you connect with people about the program?
So yeah, thanks for just drawing me to this point, because I think it's going to make me more accountable. So yeah, I've been on journey for a while. I've lost 45 pounds. I feel great. I've been struggling. I definitely am in a struggle still that's been going on probably for 2 months. Julie has been awesome. And my husband is also on journey. He's now he's on his second week, or just going to start a second week of transition. And I want to be there. Like I've been on the journey for a while, and I'm just kind of tired of, the very restricted, I guess, from what I really want. So Julie has challenged me on many levels, and I'm very extreme, either on the left side or the right side. She also had me go and do the InBody body analysis, composition, and it was very like, yeah, okay, I see that. I basically need to lose 30 pounds more to be very healthy and have all of my my levels where they should be, which is very positive for me, because that really backed what I knew I needed to do. As far as where I am in my journey now and talking to my clients, so I'm a new coach. I'm still learning every day. I'm still asking questions of Julie very often, but this is a very good learning experience, definitely. Putting myself out there and saying, this is where I've been. I'm further along than most of the clients where I started from are. And I'm trying to be that good coach, by starting to go to the gym and whatnot and do those healthy habits and really incorporate those as, weekly things for me. But it's still a struggle. I thought that I was doing really, really well by losing the 45, and I know it's a great thing. But again, I looked at my own basal metabolic rate, and it's like 1,390, and Julie's like, look, you don't have a choice. Like, it's either you go back on 501, you get into fat burn and kill it, like for another 2 months, or you just struggle day by day with like 200 to 300 calorie differences. And that is no fun.
Right.
And I guess for me, I don't want to be in this struggle. I know to some degree it's going to be a struggle, probably forever. But I want to be able to breathe and, like you guys said, like go to dinner with your friends, have a glass of wine if that's what you want, or have something that's like higher carb and not be in freak out mode. So as far as keeping my clients on the straight and narrow, I feel like that's still, really good, because I have the knowledge, and that's very positive. I've learned a ton. But when they try to veer off, I'm like, I've done that, and it's just not worth it, so.
Well, that's good. And the reason your clients are doing well is because you've got your head in the game. You're figuring it out. You know what I mean? You haven't abandoned what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you're just figuring out, okay, what's the right approach going to be?
Right.
Like when you said not so restrictive, I mean, one of my questions would be, well, what do you feel that you're missing? Because Julie's exactly right. You can do a caloric deficit plan in the 1,300 calorie range, or whatever, or that's your, that's your resting. So you'd have to drop below that. There's not much that fits into that. It's probably not what you're feeling you want to eat, and that's
Right. I miss the natural things, like the higher carb veggies. Like I really wanted Brussels sprouts. I really want, fruit. But again, by pushing this date of being able to be more free and have that freedom, by pushing that date out, it's just making me miserable. Buckle down, 2 months, 8 weeks. It's not the rest of my life.
Right.
And I'll be done. Like this will be behind me.
So it might be good, yeah, just to go through and maybe kind of write down your goals, and Julie can help you with that, maybe a structural tension. Because that's the thing, is moving from, and that's a good point in this conversation, is and because I was stuck here for a while, what I should be doing versus what do I want to do, right? And so that's a struggle. So we want to get back to wanting to do it,
Right.
And I agree, it's just like with parenting and work, there's sometimes we have to do things in life we don't really want to do to get there. But it may be worth it, so that.
Oh, it'll definitely be worth it.
Yeah.
Just get this to go with this and I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So good. Well, it's getting late, guys. So thank you for being on. Hopefully it was helpful. We want to do more of this, just team time, just gathering up and just having the real conversation. So just a couple quick things that we are still doing the Dan Bell trainings. If you're interested in that, they're on Saturdays at 11, also recorded. If you don't get a chance to see it, they're very, very valuable. And then also if you're in the Atlanta area or really anywhere, would welcome you to come October 15th. Sunday afternoon from 3 to 6, we're doing a regional health coach training in Atlanta. And it's not unusual. I mean, last event, we had people that traveled out that weren't even in our team, that traveled. One traveled 6 hours from Florida. We had several people from South Carolina. So it's not unusual to travel to an event. So if you just to be part of that community and the education. So we'd love to have you if you want to come and join us. But that's it, unless you guys have any other questions.
Charlotte's the 21st.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank
11
you.
o'clock. 10 o'clock for coaches.
Perfect. All right, good deal. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
You guys.
Good night, guys.